I noticed Staffordshire wasn't on your list, and it tends to be the way with most things. Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent get ignored quite a lot, because we're not really famous for anything, and that's where I hail from. But we are number one in one thing. England has the highest teen pregnancy rate in Europe, and Stoke-on-Trent has the highest teen pregnancy rate in England. So therefore, we have the highest teen pregnancy rate in Europe.
Where's all your kids?
But, so I wrote this poem as inspiration for, that inspired me for that, so. I want you all to be honest. Have you ever come into a sock?
Yes.
Ever had that realisation seep through your soul as you walk down the street, stepping on your potential kids? If not, your life has hit the skids. Dude, let's open it out. Everybody here is a pervert. Oh, I would never. Did you hear about that guy? Fuck, you are that guy! And at night you go home, jack off and cry and wonder why no one else finds pregnant women sexy. There are fucking websites! Don't tell me no one looks. Hell, I'm choosing pussy over those gun and drug-toting crooks. Third biggest industry in the world. And yet as I stand here, I can feel those toes curled. You know what I found last night? As I perused site after site? Squid porn! Men and women who adorn themselves in the fisherman's catch. Hell, one chick even had a lobster in her snatch. I didn't know whether to be hungry or horny. All I knew is I fancied eating something. And this poem may be blue, but it's all true, that no matter how much we as a race like to believe ourselves chase, Two Girls and a Cup still has 30 million hits, and we've all seen Paris Hilton's tits. Now, these pursuits may be base, but it's not in bad taste to let the gates open once in a while and beguile you with everything you could imagine and more. And it's okay, because it's all behind a locked door. If I don't pay, it's okay. If I don't pay, it's okay. Fuck, is that your mantra? You'll fuck a search engine, but you won't try Tantra. Open the door, shoot the bolt, and stop treating your interest like it's something cult. We all do it. Hell, maybe if you fingered your spouse in the same way you touch your mouse, you'd both be a lot happier. It's so wonderfully liberating to stop negating that secret urge, be it to splurge on your lover's chest or your hidden passion for women's fashion. Behind that door is a raw fixation, which we as a nation try to forget. It's all too taboo. And that's why we have a 45-minute queue of teens around parent planning. If we can't accept our own sexuality, how the fuck are they supposed to find theirs? No one cares. Everyone wants to save face, and everyone wants to fit into their little space, and everyone wants to keep that door locked and let those crusty socks rot under our mattresses as the images we pretend not to see are burned into our heads. We don't need sexual education. We need sexual liberation. And fuck, if that kid jizzes on that girl's chest, maybe she won't have to see the abortionist like all the rest.
Last but not least, Mark Ruddick.
Right, well, I did sex in my last one, so I thought I'd move on to the next subject of religion, so there we go. Right. This is basically a poem about how I completely lost my faith in Christianity when I was in year 4 in primary school. Basically because I was told that Jesus is not a pirate, which really disappointed me. For 6 years, I was educated about Jesus Christ in song. Go tell it on the mountain. 6 years, sitting cross-legged on a cold, dusty, tiled floor, staring at an OHP, which had a crack in it the shape of a Viking longship. Unfortunately, that was all I could see. A dull grey line cutting through the surf of size 12 text. Jesus Christ is Lord, the dull cardigan-clad figure would drone from beneath her specs, as I stared at wrecks of Nordic plunder, tossed asunder by the ebb and flow of changing celluloid. 5 little loaves and 2 little fish are all the provisions we have, Captain. We're going to have to find land within the day. Assembly, after morning play, not a good idea to type the hymn in Gothic script. Someone had tried to tape the crack, and so given my boat sellotape sails. But their attempts to make me listen were to no avail. Captain Jesus now had a cutlass rather than a horned helm, and had plundered all the riches of the realm, and taken all the girls hostage, one by one to walk the plank, or to cook us pies in the deep, dank galley of SS Morning Hymn. As the teachers added more and more tape, SS Morning Hymn began to really take shape. Crow's nests, gun turrets, radar dish, porthole pinpricks and scratch nets for fish. We sailed the world, all creatures great and small. We fought, tracked and discovered them all, sailing round inlets with dark-skinned natives and telescopic sight, while together we learned to read and write, hauling crates of treasure on Captain Jesus' never-ending endeavour to see the world as the waves curled and broke upon the prow. Look at me now. I was once asked to form a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, to go tell it on the mountain. But when I tried in year 4, I was told, no! Jesus is something more. He's not your friend. He's a guide, like a captain. No! Because he's not on your side. He's not a pirate or a Viking. He's a carpenter. Well, that's not exciting. Andy's dad's a carpenter. Captain Jesus is outside the dusty floor, beyond the dull hymns that bore senseless melodies into kids' heads. Instead, he's in garden sheds, wherever a kid is playing by himself, lost in a fantasy. That is a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. A friend, an adventure, and a captain. Unfortunately, the book doesn't lie, and he didn't die, so you can sully his good name. He's hanging on that cross for you. And what do? You try to bring him down. Just remember, he's hanging up there, out of reach, and the closest you get to him is hearing me preach. Jesus died for my sins that day. And when we went out to play, we pretended to be Power Rangers. Captain Jesus fell through the gallows and lay nailed to the schoolroom wall, where he looked so small. And he hangs there still, as a reminder to kids to never let their imaginations stop. He was good enough to get me in trouble with the priest, who quickly ceased any attempt to make me stare at text. Instead, I focused on what came next. Captain Jesus sailed away without ever asking me to pray, only to keep exploring the world and keeping on learning how to play. Thank you.